Monopoly. It is a game that brings families and friends together, but also tears them apart. But I think that there are some really deep money lessons that we can learn from playing the game of Monopoly, and I wanted to go through 10 of them in this video. So the first learning is that if you want to win Monopoly, you do need to buy assets.
I love property and I love this game so much.
One thing that is very clear about Monopoly is if you only just pass go and collect your $200 and you never purchase any assets, you will be cash rich at the beginning of the game. But as more of your opponents buy more assets, you will keep on having to pay rent every time you land on something.
Where is all my money going? I keep paying rent.
And eventually you'll lose the game because you'll keep on having to pay rent and other things like taxes, when you stop at a railroad, electricity bills and things like that. And I think that this is one of the most important lessons that we can learn about money from Monopoly. If we leave all of our cash in a bank account, which pays an interest rate of 1% per year, it's not enough to keep up with inflation. And that's why it's important to buy assets. The second learning is that even though it's important to buy properties and it's important to acquire assets in the game of Monopoly, it's important to keep some cash on you just in case you ever need to pay rent, you need to pay taxes, you need to stop off at a railroad or pay for some utilities. If we have all of our money in assets in the game of Monopoly, then we will have to mortgage some of our properties for a really bad price. And the same goes for real life as well. That is why it's so important to keep an emergency fund of from 3 to 6 months of our living expenses saved in cash, just in case any emergencies or unexpected purchases come up. Another reason why it's important to keep some cash on you in the game of Monopoly and also in real life as well is just in case there is a really good investment opportunity that pops up. For example, in the game of Monopoly, if somebody lands on a square and they don't want to purchase that property, or they don't have enough money to purchase that property, it then gets opened up to the rest of the players to purchase that property, and you might be able to get that property for a really, really good deal. And the same goes for real life as well. When we do have a bit of cash savings on hand, this enables us to pick up some assets at a really good price. So the third thing that I learned about money from Monopoly is, and let's check the chance cards, that you need to smash the like button on Queenie's videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's not me saying it, guys, it's the card. I'm just kidding. The third lesson that I learned from Monopoly is it's important to diversify our assets. Have you ever played a game of Monopoly and you've gone all in on just a few squares and just a few properties and nobody lands on those properties even though you have hotels built? Yeah, that really sucks. And that is why it is important to diversify our assets. This principle applies in the game of Monopoly, but it also applies in real life as well. If we put all of our eggs in one basket, it is really risky and we might not be able to get a very good return from that investment. And when we do have all of our eggs in that one basket, it can be pretty risky. However, when we do have our investments diversified across a range of different assets, we can spread our risk out. The fourth thing that Monopoly taught me about money is it's important to learn how to negotiate in life. When you're playing Monopoly and you're looking to negotiate with another player to get one of their properties in exchange for some cash or another property that you have, it is really important to know where the line is and not lowball people too much. Because when you lowball people way too much, well, they probably won't want to do business with you. And the same goes for real life as well. When we were looking to purchase this apartment, it was really important to understand where the lowest possible offer we could go would be. It is important to get a true value of what that property could be worth and a bit of a range of what that property could be worth. And it is good to start on the lower end of the spectrum rather than in the middle or the higher end of the spectrum, because of course, you can only really go up from your first offer and you can never go down from there. Another good strategy to know is to just observe the different players and see what they're accepting other offers for. And that will give you a bit of a general guide of what they would like to sell their property for.
It looks like you owe me some rent. Pay up. I saw that. Put that money back. Don't steal. What are you talking about? You can't even see your own cards.
So the fifth money lesson that I learned from Monopoly is the most expensive property isn't always the most valuable property. For example, the most expensive property on the Monopoly board are these dark blue squares. On my Monopoly board, it is called Boardwalk and Park Place. This is the most expensive real estate in the game. And when I was a kid, I would always want to land on boardwalk or park place because I just knew how much rent would cost if I built a hotel there. However, purchasing these two properties, even though they are very valuable and even though you can build, a hotel that is very expensive, it might not always be the most cost-effective property. In fact, sometimes I've made a lot more money from some of the cheaper properties on the square than the most expensive property on this board. And that's why I think it's important to look for value whenever we are purchasing investments, whether that be in real estate, stocks, or any other investments that you're looking to make. Just because something is really expensive doesn't make it valuable and doesn't mean that it's actually worth that price. And you might be able to get a better return on investment for a cheaper investment. But it is really important to weigh up the different pros and cons. And just because I want to help you guys win at your next Monopoly game, statistically, the best properties to own are the ones along this side and over here. Because statistically, this gets the most traffic because when people go to jail, they have to go back here and they have to do this side of the board all the time. So that's why these pieces of real estate, even though they're less expensive, they could be a better investment than the more expensive side of the board. The next money lesson is to take calculated risk. In the game of Monopoly, just like in real life, it is important to take calculated risk. If we want to win at the game of Monopoly, we do need to spend a bit of our money to start building houses and building hotels to make our properties more valuable. There could be the risk that nobody ever lands on that square, but it is worth trying. And the more houses and hotels that you can build, the more likely you will be able to collect rent. The next money lesson is it is important to try and buy as many assets as you can as early as you can in the game. In the game of Monopoly, we all start off with the same amount of money and we all get to roll the dice. So there is a bit of an element of chance. But in order to increase our chances of winning, we do need to purchase as many properties as we can on the board. But of course, we do need to keep in mind value as well. And the same goes for real life as well. If we do want to set ourselves up for success later on in life with our personal finances, we do need to try and acquire assets in order to build wealth for us. Because we all know that even though pass and go and collecting $200 at the beginning of the game seems like a lot of money, by the time we get to the end of the game and this board is filled with hotels and houses, we quickly realize that that's not actually the real way to build wealth. So the eighth money lesson following along from this is if you do want to win at Monopoly, it is important to acquire assets and to build those assets up, and not just rely on pass and go to collect $200. And the same goes for life as well. If we just rely on our paycheck and live week to week and we never really acquire any assets and we aren't able to make money while we sleep by making passive income, we will never get ahead financially. And the same goes in Monopoly as well. If we just rely on pass and go, collecting $200 and we never acquire any assets, we will never get a shot of winning the game of Monopoly. So the ninth money lesson is Monopoly is a game of skill, but it is also a game of luck as well. And I think the same goes with life as well. There is quite a big element of chance in Monopoly. Sometimes you get really lucky and you land on good squares.
Guys, looks like it's my birthday again, so you all need to pay me some money.
But I think that what you'll find is by the end of the game, it really does pay to have a strategy. And when you do have a strategy when it comes to Monopoly and also when it comes to life as well, you are able to create your own luck. And you don't need to rely on getting lucky, picking up a really good card on community chess or the chance board, and you can really just create your own luck and you'll be able to build wealth your own way. And the 10th money lesson is that sometimes when you're playing Monopoly and you need to go to jail, sometimes it actually isn't that bad because then you don't need to pay rent when this board is filled up with hotels. Don't get me wrong though, I'm not saying it's a good idea to go to jail at all because, yeah, we don't want that. But the way that I like to see it is when you are in jail, it's kind of just a little bit of time to process things, to reassess your financial situation, to have a look at the different properties that you own, have a look at what properties other people own, and really think about a strategy before you can come out of jail. And sometimes it can be a really good idea to just take a break, maybe try not to spend so much money for just a couple of days, so then you can reassess your situation, you can save up a bit more money, and start fresh.
Well, at least I haven't spent any money this week.
So those are the 10 money lessons that I learned from Monopoly, and I would love to hear from you guys. What did you guys learn about money from Monopoly? Let me know down in the comments below, and write me a comment below with the word dice in it, as in these dice, so I know who watched this video all the way to the end. I really, really appreciate you guys. So make sure you tap the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content about investing and personal finance. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! And if you want more videos, don't worry, I got you. Here are some more videos that you can watch, so make sure you click the links and click through to another video.